Hey everyone, I'm former Kitchener Rangers goaltender Lucas Pfeil, and I'm currently playing out in BC for the Cowichan Valley Capitals in the BCHL, and joined by my buddy Yantz here.
It's Jonathan Yantsis. I played for the Rangers for 4 years. Played forward, hopefully not forgot about it yet. Played last year was my last year, and what's up?
Scored a couple goals for the Rangers.
One or two prime. Here or there. It's a prime.
In your prime. Why don't you let everyone know what you're up to these days, Yantz?
Right now I'm at Queen's, studying economics. Exciting stuff. Didn't have a season, so we've been practicing all year. How about you?
I'm living out in BC right now on Vancouver Island.
That's nice, eh?
Not bad. A small town called Duncan, and I kind of joined this team later in the summer. Before, I guess in August, whatever, I decided to come out here and play. Our season got shut down for a while, but luckily we started up a couple weeks ago. And so we're like 7 games into our season now out of 20 games. So, it's good to be playing again.
It's a long one, eh? Marathon season.
20 games in 38 days or something. We just finished our first stretch. 6 games in 8 days. Grind.
That's not bad. You guys are playing. One of the few that are.
No 3-and-3s, which was nice.
How can you play 20 and 38 with no 3-and-3s, playing every other day?
Literally every other day. Like our first 8 days, we had 2 games, day off, 2 games, day off, 2 games. And then our schedule is a little lighter now, but we're going to finish the season the same way we started with the 6 games in 8 days. But it's a grind, but it's fun. That was like the first thing me and one of my roommates looked at, was like, make sure there's no 3-and-3s to start it off.
So, Fields, you take me through your time at the Rangers. Any good experiences?
I thought maybe we could both share our kind of how we joined the team. Maybe I thought that would be a good way to
I feel like they're both pretty interesting stories, considering just joined randomly halfway through this same season, I guess.
Same season, yeah. I'll go first, I guess. I got drafted out of Grey Bruce when I was in my draft year, and then the next year I went and played prep hockey at Ridley College in St. Catharines, and we were like partway through our season, getting close to playoffs actually for the prep season in like February, and I guess my agent just randomly called me one day when I was at school and said that the Rangers had a contract for me or whatever. So I was pretty pumped at the time, so I just signed it immediately. I met my agent at a Tim Hortons in St. Catharines and signed it. And then I just went back, and it was just a regular day. I was just doing homework or whatever. And my coach at school called me and was like, hey, one of the Rangers goalies got hurt or something, and they want you to go on a road trip tomorrow. And it was like the same time. It was like a
little whirlwind.
Yeah. I decided to go, and I missed my team's playoffs, but I decided to join the team the next day. And we have a bit of a funny story about our first road trip there that I'll tell in a bit, but you can go first. Or you can
All right. Now. So I signed. So I didn't get drafted, as it's well known. A little tough. And then grade 11. So my first year of juniors, I played midget. We had a great team. I got hurt for a couple months and then came back. The next year, I went to Barrie rookie camp, Guelph main camp, got cut from both of those. That was a fun experience. And then I was signed with the junior A team, and then decided to play midget. better for myself, like development and playing with my friends. And we had like a great team, won a bunch of tournaments, just lived it up. And then
as Rich would say, you went back to midget to shut it down and just play with your buddies. Your last year of minor hockey.
Have a good time with my friends. It was pretty exciting. And then in January, I was talking to a few teams, had like a few murmurings of contract offers, a couple, not a big deal. And then yeah. And then it was the morning of the deadline. I like walked downstairs and like, because of the midget draft that was coming up in June or July, I didn't know if I could sign anywhere. And come downstairs the morning of the deadline. It's like 10 in the morning. The stuff's due at noon to get anyone signed, I guess. And my dad's like, hey, can you come sign these papers? And it was like a contract to play for the Rangers. I'm like, all right, sounds good. And then signed, and then like go to school. Everything's normal for a couple days. I'm dealing with like transfers to go to Grand River. And
great school.
Yep. Shout out Grand. And Mr. Tennant. Shout out Mr. Tennant. And so I'm transferring, and like news gets around my school, you know, you feel like big man on campus, whatever. So that was pretty exciting. And then Thursday I was moving up, and move up Thursday, come in Friday morning, get all new gear, like toss my entire old midget bag in the trunk, don't need it. All new gear Friday morning. And then I have a meeting with Keyser, and he's like telling me the systems and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. And he was like, oh, by the way, there's a chance that you play tonight because Buns has like a foot problem that he's got to deal with. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. So that night was my first game. Moved up Thursday, first game Friday. And I remember like skating around before starting lineup. And I was in the starting lineup because Jay was really good with that and putting in new guys that he got in the starting lineup. Skating around, I'm like, this is a little bigger than my midget arena, a couple more fans. And
was that the odd?
Yeah, at the odd first game. And my first shift, I forget who dumps in the puck. Someone dumps the puck in. I'm going full speed, and you know you're fired up because it's your first game there. You want to make an impact.
And your full speed is like quick.
Well, I got going. Wound up the boots, let him go. And I'm coming down on the goalie because he's playing the puck after someone dumped it in. And I'm like, he makes a pass, and I'm like, I'm going pretty fast. If I turn here, I'm gonna blow him up. So like I try and like cut the corner, end up slew footing him. I skate to the box. I'm like ashamed of myself. I'm like, oh man, back to midget for me. Like that's it. That's the career. And then I look over at Keyser on the bench, and Barney and Forge, who is still here, and they're all like dying of laughter, and I'm just like sitting in the box like this. I'm like about to cry. But
who was the goalie?
It wasn't Blackwood because I think he was away or he wasn't playing. But whoever their backup was, yeah, I ran him my first shift in the OHL.
I didn't even know that actually. And then, I guess, do you remember the game that we played against Niagara where I went in the third period? And I went out to play the puck like a minute in, and I got blown up, and then you went to fight again.
Well, no one else was trying to fight him, and I was like, hey, that's my roommate. Big dog come in.
No, we weren't roommates at the time.
No, but I was
that was the year before, but
I was like, that's my guy. I'm like already upset. We were getting blown out at the time, right? And comes blows you up, and I'm like, he doesn't want to fight. He skates away. I throw Ladnia into the bench, and then Langer, who's like a 16-year-old and like 150 pounds at the time, is getting ragdolled by their captain. So I stepped in there. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Yeah. But back to what I was saying earlier, that first road trip. So like, I guess
yeah,
you remember now. I got on the bus or whatever. We had morning skate and got on the bus, and I think I sat with Dammer on the bus. We were both 16, and drove to the Sioux. And I remember
first road trip for you.
Yeah,
all the way up there.
Yeah, got me into it quick, threw me in the deep end. But yeah, we got to the Sioux, and I remember we stopped at the Caruso Club in Sudbury, Joey G's favorite.
For anyone that doesn't know, listening to this, Caruso Club, we stopped there every road trip when we passed through Sudbury. Delightful Italian food. But continue.
And I guess, so whatever, we eat our meal, and I'm like, I was a rookie at the time, so obviously I was like trying to like get back on the bus quick and not like mess up any scheduling or whatever. So I sat down, and I'm like, oh my God, like I have to pee so bad. And we just left the restaurant, and I told Dammer, I'm like, and I'm sitting like right at the front of the bus, like right behind Bear. And I told Dammer, I'm like, am I allowed to use the washroom? Like, what's the deal? And I guess the rule was you had to like beat a few vets at rock, paper, scissors or something. And he's like, well, we just left the restaurant. Why didn't you go there? Like, they're going to question you on that. I'm like, oh my God, true. So I held it for a while, and then eventually I can't take it anymore. I went to the back. I think I lost a couple games, but Darby, shout out Darby Llewellyn at the time. He was at the back there. He was grizzled, and he's just like, I'll just go in the washroom. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, but we finally got to the hotel, and all the older guys got off the bus, whatever, and got their room keys. And then right at the end is, I'm like obviously waiting in the back of the line to grab my key or whatever, and because I didn't know what the deal was. And I'm standing with you and Petey, Alex Peterson. And I think Forch was giving out the room keys, and he's like, oh, Pfeil, you were supposed to be rooming with Frank Hora at the time, who was an OA captain. And this was my first ever road trip. He's like, so you can either just go knock on his door and say you're rooming with him, or you can just go 3 in a room with Yantz and Pete. And I'm like,
especially because it's like your first day, man. You're like, you like walk in, and they're like, oh, you're with the OA captain, and you're like still a kid basically, and you're just like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was like literally the day before I was at like prep school with a bunch of kids, and then so I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'll just go 3 in a room with Yantz and Petey. And I remember we got to the room, and we couldn't decide who was like sharing a bed or something, so we pushed the 2 beds together and made a mega bed.
And I slept in the crack. Like I was the only one playing the next day. Yeah, wild.
Yeah, I was backing off, and I don't know if P was in the lineup or not. So I think you were the only one playing, and you slept right in the middle in the crack.
Yeah, the most uncomfortable sleep of my life, about to fall through.
And then I don't know, I saw Frank the next day or how it worked, but he's like, were you supposed to room with me? And I was like, oh yeah, but like I didn't want to bother you or whatever, so I just went with Yantz. He's like, oh dude, like you could room with me, it's fine. And then the rest, I think we had a couple days on the road. I roomed with him, and he was a great guy.
We had like the older guys were great to, like, I thought they were great to us. They really, like, there was nothing to be scared about, but just like as a kid, you're like, probably should speak up.
Yeah, you're just young. I think, like, I remember I walked into the room, and there was Darby, Frank, and DePerna were the OAs that year, and I was just like, I was just a kid, like you said, and they were just like towering over me, and I'm like,
when I came, I was like 17, and I met Dips, Frank, Darby, and Dips had the beard going. I'm like, he's a full grown man. I'm playing with men.
Can't even grow a beard. But yeah, that was like the funny first road trip story I had, and then things got a little less funny when I played my first game in Hamilton.
Yeah,
but that didn't go well. That rink wasn't kind to me. In my
couple tough bounces.
Yeah, it wasn't a great rink to me in my time there, but yeah, I think just we talked to a couple of the guys before we hopped on this to get some funny stories, and I guess another one of the stories that Axel Bergkvist brought up was his slip in the shower in Erie. He said
in Erie though, like as from it's split rooms basically, right? So it's D and goalies on one side, and then all the forwards on the other. So like on the forward side, we have no idea what's going on the other side. But I heard this, and I think it's hilarious.
I honestly needed to ask him exactly what happened because I don't remember. I think we obviously had just won, and so guys were like we were playing music or whatever. I think Bergie was like dancing or something.
Yeah,
and he was like sliding around in the shower, and he slid and like fell right into the wall and put a huge hole in the drywall.
Through the wall
and outside the shower.
He's a strong dude, just going straight through the wall, pretty thick. But I
don't know. It wasn't very funny at the time. I think some people might have been mad at us, but so Bergie said that he slipped and fell in the shower and accidentally put a hole in the wall, but it might have been because of his dance moves.
Got the EIA. What was your favorite rink to play in while we were there?
London.
Yeah, I agree.
It was just like,
and like the fans are shredding you on anything you do, like always in your ear.
Yeah. I think there was one earlier in my first season, we had a game in London. It was a Sportsnet game, and I wasn't playing, and Rich was in net, and I remember I think I had to go in the third or something.
Yeah, those Sportsnet games weren't very kind to Rich, but
yeah, I guess not. But I remember it was just, I don't know, this is just a cool feeling playing in front of that many fans, and like the rink itself is so nice, and I don't know, I can't remember if we were able to grab a win there in a couple of years there. It's a tough rink to play in, but it's fun for sure.
It is for sure.
Was that your favorite rink to play in as well?
Yeah. Also where I scored my first goal. I think that's why on Tyler Parsons, World Junior USA champion, whatever.
If you had heard of him. Well, we were talking about Erie a second ago, and I thought Erie would have been your favorite because of the little donut shop across the street from our hotel.
Okay. Story for everyone. May incriminate myself a little bit. I'll tell you remember the Keyser story with the I across the street from where we stay in Erie, there's a Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme is, quite good. Don't have it close to home. So we go with a couple guys, grab like a box. I have a few donuts, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And the next day we're playing
box
Erie.
Of donuts that has 12 donuts in it.
But yeah, we're playing Erie the next day, and I think it was a morning game, right? Or like an early afternoon. And I had a slow first period. And Keyser comes in and he's like, "What are you doing out there? Like, you got to wake up." And he was just like laying into me a little bit. Needed it though. Needed to focus up. Laying into me, and then I don't know how he finds out. He's like, after the game, he comes to me. He's like, "How many donuts did you eat last night?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, I heard from a couple people you had a couple donuts and why you had a slow start." I'm like, I don't know how many total, but I had a few. And from this day, Keyser still sends me pictures driving through Krispy Kremes, and he sends me and says, "Thinking about you." And it's a little inside joke, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, but you weren't the only one that would hit up Krispy Kreme the night before a game in Erie.
Well, no, but
I don't know if everyone else was eating 7 or 8 the night before a game.
Whoa. The diet wasn't that bad. 6 max. Tapped out.
Yeah. We were all getting in on the donuts, and then the bus ride home after was donuts as well. That must have been like, I don't know, did we win that game?
Yeah, we did. And he laid into me, and then first shift got an assist, which are not easy to come by for
Rare
him.
for
So
you.
it was like, yeah, it was big.
Yeah, I think the road trips were probably one of my favorite parts of playing.
Yeah, just good memories, and you're with the boys everywhere you go, and it's
like the one I also texted Vooks asking if he had any other stories we should bring up, and the one that he brought up right away was the Owen Sound road trip. I don't know what
the
year
snowstorm,
it was, but yeah, and the snowstorm. So we played a game in Owen Sound, and I can't remember if we won or lost. I can't remember, but it was a few years ago. And Owen Sound is my hometown for those of you listening. And after the game, we get out of the rink, and it's like a complete blizzard. And the one highway out of Owen Sound, the highway out of Owen Sound is closed, and it's not a very big city. There's not very many hotels like you would find in a lot of other OHL cities. So we're like getting on the bus, and we're like, I think Danny was calling hotels trying to get rooms because we were literally stuck there.
We stopped at like 4 or 5. Like we stopped at 2 hotels, 3 motels. No one had room for us.
And I think the problem was there was a bunch of people already booking up the hotel because it was like 10:30 at night after the game, and so people were like getting the rooms because it was a blizzard. And I was like texting my parents. I'm like, oh, I think we might be stuck here. And I don't know if it was my mom or dad that they just said, oh, just like tell the whole team to come to our house and stay. And I was like, what, really? And mom was like, yeah, it's fine. So I talked to Danny. I'm like, hey, like my parents say that like a bunch of the guys can stay at our house if we need a room. And he was like, are you serious? So I think Danny was on the phone with my dad or something, and then Keezer was asking me, he's like, can you actually fit like 12 guys? And I'm like, yeah, we'll throw down air mattresses and stuff. And it was going to be a great time, I think.
It was. Jerry and Moana getting the basement ready for all of us.
They
Shout
were,
out
yeah.
Jerry and Moana.
Yeah, shout out to my parents. And yeah, they were getting fired up. And my dad was pretty pumped out, all the boys over at the house. And then I think we were honestly like on the way to my house, and we were driving just past the highway, and like we saw the barrier had moved on the road. And so our bus driver Mikey, shout out Mikey.
Oh, remember that?
Was just like, yeah, I wasn't on that road trip.
I think you were.
I guarantee you I wasn't, but you could bring it up.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, the barrier was gone, and Mikey's like, all right, this is our one chance. So I think we ended up leaving Owen Sound at like midnight, and it was like a battle, I think, for Mikey.
Yeah. We were driving home at like 15 kilometers an hour. It took us like 4 hours to get home. It was wild.
Yeah, it was insane. But that was a good story. I thought Vooks brought up, so would have been awesome to have all the boys at my house, but luckily we got home safe.
But that Mikey, so a lot of the guys call Mikey Moose, and you were there because it was Mike's first year as our bus driver, and we're on like a road trip. It's like the middle of the night. You know, you got a couple late night road trips while you're playing junior, and it has to be like 1 a.m, and we're driving back from like Sudbury or like Sault Ste. Marie, and next thing you know, like I'm like sleeping in my seat, full jam on the brakes. and I almost go flying. I'm like, what just happened? There was a full moose in the middle of the highway, and like, I've never seen a moose before. I'm not from Owen Sound, so that's not really wildlife central. And like, full jam, we're like skidding. Mike saved our life, and that's why his name Moose. That's all I got.
I've heard that story. I've heard that story many times, but I don't think I was on that road trip. I don't know if I was playing junior B or if I was still at prep school, but I've heard the story a lot. And I think I heard it might have been the same day that we were potentially staying at my house, and Farwell was talking to my parents. And I think something along the lines of Mikey could handle anything because he stick handled half a moose. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was a crazy story. Mikey, he was a battler behind the wheel for the boys.
He got us where we needed to go. Thankful for everything he did for us.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any other stories that stand out to you that you want to bring up? I got a couple in mind.
Man, like, I am not as well prepared for this as you are. Just wrote my exam, or one of my exams. Aced it, by the way.
Yeah.
But what do you got for us?
Good for you. Well, yeah, we had a couple days off here, so I had some time to prepare a little bit and just from talking to the guys. But one other story that was like just you and I, when we were at the Odd, and I guess there's a few concerts that roll through the Odd every year, and we saw the Arkells at a concert playing, and so we're
incriminating ourselves with this one.
A little bit, but it's all right. Yeah, so we saw it on the calendar or whatever, on a poster in the rink, that like the Arkells were coming for Valentine's Day, and it was in a couple of seasons ago, and we're like, we need to go. And I remember like we were thinking of different ways, because I don't know if we could get tickets or something, and I remember like I was so fired up for it because we practiced, and we were practicing downstairs on one of the rinks, and we came up and they were like,
the soundtrack
was like, yeah, they were like practicing or whatever, and so we were able to watch a couple minutes of that, and we were like, we need to go to this concert, so we found a way into the rink just before the concert. So we were already in the rink from practice, and then we went upstairs and might have hidden the bathroom for a couple minutes
for an hour maybe.
Yeah, but we were able to get some seats up in the nosebleeds at the Odd and watch this concert.
That was my first concert, and that's like one of my best experiences, or one of my best experiences in KW. Yeah. Like, but yeah,
those good concerts. So show at the Arkells. There were quite a few events that would happen at the Odd that we were lucky enough to go.
We were lucky where we were, just like being such a good spot to be able to see like Old Dominion, the Arkells, Russell Peters, WWE, like
WWE,
everything.
Yeah. That one. I didn't. Did you go to Mariana's Trench? I didn't go to that one.
No.
I heard that one was unreal too. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that coming through at the Odd that we were lucky enough to go to. WFD was unreal.
Underrated. Those guys are real athletes.
They were. I remember all the boys were getting into it. Remember Masherin was like heckling the WWE guys. And there were some diehard fans at the diehard WWE fans. I think Vooks might have been a WWE fan. And the guys were coming out, and he was like naming them all off. Like, oh, this guy. I can't remember any of the names, but he was fired up.
I don't see Vooks as a WWE guy, but that's interesting.
It might have been Vooks. Could have been someone else. I don't know. But yeah, it was good times. And the other story that I could think of, it wasn't really anything to do with hockey, I guess the concert one wasn't either, but was when we went to as a team to Buffalo Wild Wings, and one of our teammates won a T-shirt. I don't know. You could tell a story if you'd like.
Okay. So just like we like to do something at least weekly where all the guys away from the rink, get together, you hang out, you become a team really. And it was probably a Tuesday, I think. And we're like, what we need? We need half price wings on a Tuesday. So we head down to Buffalo Wild Wing, and Roops, Joseph Rapoli, just committed to Ryerson. I'll be seeing him next year. They have this challenge. I forget what it's called, but it's like the spiciest wings you can get.
The Blazin challenge or something.
Yeah, it's for a T-shirt. I would not put myself through that for a T-shirt, but the guy, it was like 6 of their hottest wings, and Roops is like crushing them. All the boys, like all of us right behind him, like cheering, screaming. He's crying. He's got like drool coming out of his mouth, about to like break down, but he powered through, brought all the boys together, won a T-shirt, and Extreme Pig.
I think the exact words I heard the waitress say while she was there, like timing him, was like she was in shock, and she was like, "I've never seen anyone eat wings this fast." And all the boys were crowded around Oops, and I think he won the shirt, and then it was like a triple XL, so he couldn't even fit. He couldn't even wear it. But
just the memory.
Yeah, good memories. And of course, it was Roops that would do anything for the boys.
Mm-hmm. He was a great team guy, beloved in the change room. But more hockey related. What do you have any weird superstitions or anything, or like routine you did at the odd before games?
I would have my kind of daily routine, but at the odd, I don't know, like specifically, like I would, before the games, I would go like sit up in the stands. And I know some guys say like, well, I have to sit in the exact same seat every time, but there's so many seats I couldn't even remember which one I was sitting. I don't know, like there weren't a ton. Like I just kind of do my routine and then go out and play. But I can't remember any specific. Like I would always do my hand-eye with the ball drills in the same spot.
Do you remember any like weird ones anyone had, or like? Because I think the weirdest one I saw while I was there was like guys would get. We have like big tubs of the A535, like the icy hot, and they would just take it and like lather their body in it, and to get themselves fired up for the game. And I thought that was like so weird. But you remember any weird ones? I put you on the spot, but
like you had a couple,
yeah,
you had a couple weird ones.
Like a psychopath.
I remember
I was a psycho.
Yeah, and I remember you would tape your sticks in the same spot, and you wouldn't let anyone else throw out the tape that you took off your stick. Like
or touch my sticks. Dude, yeah, I had like a full thing, man.
It was weird. Like,
so yeah, mine, like I get to the rink like 2.5 hours before. Wouldn't even like really talk to anyone. Just like go sit in the stands in seat 13 in the corner. That's like on our side of the bench to the right. So it's like back right from the benches. Go sit in seat 13, 2 rows down, like a psychopath. Sit there and just stare at the ice and like visualize. And then we do team meeting. I'd come down and watch you guys play sewer. Like I wouldn't even play sewer. And just like looking back, it's like, wow, I was so dialed. But
I got a sewer story after you finish here.
Okay. Tape my sticks in the same spot. Tape all my sticks. No one was like, I didn't like anyone touching them. I didn't like my tape touching the ground. I didn't like anyone touching my garbage. And then like just like go out, get ready for the game, put my right gear on before my left. So if I was doing like shin pads, I'd do like right shin pad, left shin pad, stuff like that. Yeah. And then like warm-ups, same thing every game from when I got in the OHL almost. And it was like, especially with Rich, because like Rich would end his warm-up on my last shot for like horseshoe. And it was just like little things like that. And if I didn't do it, I was like kind of rattled about it.
So would I think. I think that was just kind of like a thing. Like you would take that last shot when we were doing like the half moon, and then it just happened to be mine and Rich's last shot. And if you missed the net or didn't shoot it like blocker side, it was a trap.
It was the end of the world.
But yeah, no, I don't remember like I obviously had like my routine and I would do the same stuff, but I don't have any crazy superstitions. Like I would put my right stuff on before my left. But yeah, nothing like crazy like you stands out to me really. I would just like do my routine, whatever. I think especially this year, just with like such a weird schedule, like I've kind of not thrown my routine out the window, but
you can't really have a routine without like, it's so wild right now.
No, and if you're so attached to it and then something goes wrong, then it's the end of the world. So I've just kind of got rid of it a little bit. But when you were talking about sewer, this was like one other thing I had written down was when, and I know like fans would come down and watch down in High Five Alley or whatever. We would play like soccer before the game, like keep up. And one game I was playing sewer and the ball went up into the metal kind of, I don't know what the things were, just to protect the lights. The ball went up there and it was stuck, but they were like these panels. So me and Arbor Jack guy were trying to move the panel or something. And I was trying to pull the ball down and he had a hockey stick and he pulled the whole metal panel down and it fell like right onto my forehead. And I had a nice gash on my forehead and it didn't hurt that bad. So I just kind of grabbed my head like that and I looked at my hand and had blood all over it. So I went in to see Berkey and he was like, not disappointed, but he's just like really, like,
he's like, come on,
like, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing before a game. So nice band-aid on my forehead before the game. And I just had this big bump on my forehead. But yeah, that was a tough one for sure.
It's like little things like that you just like remember so vividly. Like you don't remember every game, but you remember like warm-ups or like little things, and they're gonna stick with you for the rest of your life. So I think like, it's a great experience growing up and playing for the Rangers.
Yeah, well said. I don't have time left here. I think maybe I guess you're not playing any hockey right now, but anything else going on in your life you'd like to share before we kind of wrap this up?
Nothing really. It's the same thing everyone else is. Everything's on pause. We were practicing every day, doing our thing, and then with the lockdowns, we haven't really been doing anything. So I'm a full-time student, no athlete, just student, and grinding out my classes, trying to finish a semester with a respectable GPA.
You got a summer job lined up?
Still looking.
Still looking. All right. Yeah. Same for me. Just got this. Gonna finish our season here. Hopefully, go on a good run with the boys and
a little championship to end off the junior career.
We'll try. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do playoffs or not, but they haven't really announced that yet. I think we were just really lucky to get our 20 games regular season and then see what happens. But yeah, just gonna enjoy that, and then I have a road trip planned. Drive back home from. I have a car out here, so I'm gonna drive it back to Owen Sound from Duncan.
Where are you stopping? Banff?
Yeah, I think. Well, as long as everything's okay with the pandemic, we're gonna have to just kind of keep more low key. I'm doing it with my girlfriend, but we're gonna see where things are at and make some stops along the way. Hopefully, have some nice scenery and whatever, and be back to Owen Sound for the summer.
That's pretty exciting. Like, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, should be fun. But I think that does it for me. I had a few stories I want to bring up, but yeah, other than that, I think that's good.
Yeah, so I think I can just finish it off with talking about one of the best nights of my life, I guess you could say. Yeah, so it was our last home game of the season, 2018-19, I guess it was. And like morning skate, I'm like at the rink. I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel good. It's going to be a good one today. Wake up from my nap. I'm standing in my shower before I leave for the rink and before I put my suit on. And I'm like, you know what? Like, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to score 4 goals tonight. And like, I was like, from the time I left my house, I was like, yeah, like it's going to happen tonight. Like, pretty confident in myself and like just speaking it into existence. And I get to the rink. It's a normal day playing Owen Sound. I'm like, yeah, I've had a good year against Owen Sound. And like, this is a great opportunity to get it. And so I think I scored in the first period on a pass from Dammer on the power play. I think I had, yeah, something like that. And then they got a 5-minute penalty.
How many of those Dammer fake shot passes to you backdoor do you think you scored that year?
Okay. In that year, I'd say
I know 18, you had like 20 something power play goals.
24 power play goals. 18, I'd say, were like just like standing and letting Dammer do his go to work. Yeah.
Just leaning on it backdoor.
Hey, I had to outmuscle a couple people first. It's not that easy, but like, yeah, it's like, it's the second period because we're shooting on our own net, like directionally. And they get a 5-minute power play. I forget who they hit. And I score another one. So there's 2. And I'm like, it's getting closer and closer. We come off for like 20 seconds, go back on. I get another one. Like Greg tries me backdoor, like makes it through and I chip it and it goes in. And then we come back, we're sitting off and like Jay comes to me and he's like, hey, whatever you do, if you can stay on the ice for this rest of this power play, yeah, just stay out there. Like green light to just float around the offensive zone and hopefully score a goal.
That's your dream.
So like, I think it was like a 5-minute power play and I ended up playing like 4 minutes of it, 3.5 minutes of it, something stupid. And like Joey G is rips a puck from the top and it's like floating in the air. And I batted in and my first reaction was like, that's a high stick. Like, didn't count. I'm like staring at Elbers. I remember the ref, Elbers. I'm like, Petesian's jumping on me, I think it was. And I'm like still waiting for the hand
going
signal.
Crazy.
Yeah. And like, it was like, good goal. He called a good goal. So like go through the train. And like, I heard in like the upper office, they didn't think I was going to hit. So like, or hit 50 that game. So they were like, we're not prepared with like a graphic or anything for the Jumbotron. So like after my like third goal, they were like freaking out. And so they got something on the screen. I like run the train, fans like crazy, like give me chills thinking about it. Like fans are like screaming and cheering and like pretty cool. And they have to review it. So it's silence. And I'm standing in front of the bench and Huggy is like in my ear. He's like, you think that's good? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I don't even want to say it. And Huggy's like, I think it's a good goal. I think it's a good one. And he's like in my ear chirping. And Elbers turns around, fixes his flow, throws on the bucket, and takes his time with it, calls a good goal, and like just an eruption. And I didn't know what to do. And Danny's like, go take a lap, because Danny's been around and he's seen a lot. He's like, go take a lap. So I like
Yeah.
just like step out, give like a little wave, and it's like something that's pretty crazy. And after the game was an absolute whirlwind, like media, pictures, sticks, going to see my parents, and like everything was just absolutely wild and something that'll live with me for the rest of my life. I don't think I've ever taken photos with that many people in my life, but it was quite exciting. And that's just one thing that's all I got to say about it. Just absolutely crazy.
Do they like keep the puck and the stick at the rink and like frame it, or do you have it?
They kept the puck, the stick, my gloves, and my helmet.
Really?
So I never got to see that again.
But you got new gear, you got new gloves and new bucket.
Yeah, new gloves, new helmet. I was okay with it.
Yeah. And then so you scored 50, and I think it was the next game. We had one game left in Owen Sound, and I think Greg was trying to hit 100 points. No.
Yeah. So
those were like the last 2 games of the season. It was pretty big deal.
It's a pretty exciting last 2 games, especially because the games didn't really mean much for our seeding, really, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So it was just like personal goals that guys wanted to hit. And it's too bad Greg didn't, but still, I think he had 98, which is
not bad.
A lot. Yeah. It's not bad. And yeah. You want to closing statements, Luke?
Yeah, I think that does it for us. But yeah, just thanks to everyone that's listening. If you'd care to follow me on Twitter, I think my Twitter handle is Pfeil29, PFEIL 29, and then my Instagram is just Lucas Pfeil. So yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. And
if you want to follow me on any social, probably it's Johnny_Yantsis. So it's no H in Johnny, Jonny. And just thanks to the Rangers for having us. It was a great catching up with Lucas. Haven't seen him in a while, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks.